All right, it's time to talk about all the fun and exciting things going down this week in Reddit. And boy, it's good to do this with you, Riz. It's I mean, we love Case. I don't want to downsize our.
We do
our
love Case
there, but it's always fun when we do this. You bring a little bit different energy, and I like to change up. I like to change things up a little now and then. I'm going to kick it off. We've got an article from Tim Twentyman, a very, very famous Detroit Lions writer, DetroitLions.com, and
Tim's a really good dude. I've enjoyed getting to know him a little bit. Good dude.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And he's everywhere. Whenever you're at a place where Tim is, you see him like 15 times. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
He's always moving. He's like...
Yeah, he's very omnipresent.
Yeah.
I give special props to him. Last week, at the day that I was at training camp, it was cold out. It was probably 60 degrees for a high, windy, no sun, and he's out there in shorts and a golf shirt. And I was very impressed.
Damn.
And like some other people, I won't say who, were wearing sweaters, cardigans maybe, and flannel and stuff like that. But Tim's out there just, I'm good, man.
Probably runs a little hot like some of us other guys do.
Maybe.
All right. He had 5 good takeaways from OTAs in week 1. I want to talk about them. Got posted in the subreddit by our friend, one of my favorite names, I'm a Ghost. Ooh. love that name. It's a good one. The first one was about young players getting opportunities early. So there was just a couple guys that hadn't showed up. It was Slay and it was Snacks weren't being there. So
yes,
there you get a chance for a couple younger guys to come in and play and show up, and that's fine. We talked about that before. No big deal if they're not there, so we're not going to even rattle on about that anymore. But a lot of the younger guys got to see some reps that they may not have. Twentyman talking about Deshaun Hand and Ashawn Robinson, and I'm thinking they're getting reps anyway, right? Snacks is there.
Yeah.
Yes,
yes, they are.
It's younger guys, though, that got to come in and rotate in and get some work. Good stuff, though, from some of the younger guys to come in. At cornerback, I think that's a great place to see some of the guys that aren't Slay, because we know exactly who Slay is. See some of those other guys come in and what they might have. Our Warrior, we'll talk about him in a little bit, I think a little more. I'm torn. I'm getting this really bipolar sense on him, feeling like this guy could be better. I know he's year 1, but he could be better than what we think. And then at the same time, well, he fell really far. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. But our cornerbacks need as many reps as we can get them. How about we say that?
That's a very fair assessment. And not having Slade there means that they get to adjust into roles that they would be if he gets hurt. Yeah. So that's not terrible either.
Very good point. Very good point. All right, the second point he had was tight ends were expected to get significant use in Bevell's offense. And they talk about a goal line drill where they use only tight ends, which is interesting. I was teasing some of the guys in the Slack, actually. I mentioned that to them, and they
saw
like,
that.
Really? I didn't know. I said, yeah, and then they wanted to pass it to Stafford. They're like, who threw it? I'm like, no, it's not him. Can you imagine? We're tight ends. Sorry, that's my new
Chris,
play.
you evildoer, you manipulator.
Yeah, I'm a jackass. That's true. So anyway, we're using a lot. Hockenson, and I've seen a lot of video and a lot of snaps of him. He's picking the ball up right off the carpet, right? I mean, he is making some really killer catches.
He's got really strong hands, and for a guy of his size and his build, he's really lithe in terms of getting after the ball. He can adjust his body and control his body very impressively.
Yeah,
I love seeing it firsthand. I saw him in college, and he reaffirmed it when I was in Allen Park last week, and I've heard nothing different this week.
Yep.
So very, very impressive athlete for the position.
Yep.
That gets undersold with him.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about him in the next topic here, but he's looking good. And then Jesse James, also good athleticism for his size. And he's a big boy, right? He's 6 foot 19 inches.
He's a big. He's you know how tall I am. He's legitimately taller than me by a little bit. So yeah, he's big dude. He still runs like he's holding in diarrhea, but it seems to work for him.
I don't know if I know I'm getting older, but he's one of the guys that he could have been a rookie. He looks so young.
He does.
Lions.
Yes.
He's just a baby face guy. Yeah. Good stuff. So that means he's going to play for longer and even be better.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Point 3, Danny Amendola could be a security blanket for Matthew Stafford, and gosh knows we've talked about how he's needed that since Golden Tate was gone.
Just somebody who can get open over the middle of the field, and Stafford is comfortable throwing him the ball. Amendola, he doesn't run routes beyond 9 yards was his limit last year. They might flex him out to 10, maybe 11, maybe, but he's going to catch a lot of those balls. And just from what I've seen, he's open. He's getting there.
They're saying he hasn't lost a step. Very, very crafty.
I would agree with that. He's so quick in and out of his breaks, and he sells it with the head, with the shoulders, the hips. He can do a lot of nifty things for a 33-year-old. Yeah. The trick will be keeping him healthy and not relying on him to be the sole chain mover over the middle of the field, which I think was where Hockenson comes in.
Right.
I think the two of them together as a new addition really helps the middle of the field offense, especially the passing offense. That tends to be where Matthew Stafford likes to go when he's in trouble. Mm-hmm. And he likes to go to the middle of the field when he rolls to his right. That wasn't there at all last year. So this is, you can see the appeal for Amendola. I still would like somebody better, but for a year, for a Band-Aid, you can do a lot worse.
As long as he hasn't lost a step, right? That's where we go.
No, and I really don't think he has. Not from what I've seen, anyways.
And the other thing that he does with the Amendola and Hock connection kind of does for Stafford is it takes a little bit of pressure off of Jones and Galladay because defenses are going to have to play a little bit differently. I like this idea of having tight ends that actually work in this offense. So we'll see. But I think that's going to be one of the key pieces. We've talked about separation for those guys for a while now. We'll see if Galladay takes another step this year. The contested balls, all that, right? But just moving the stuff around in the middle and giving these guys an opportunity to maybe get a little extra separation because people aren't, they're not getting double covered or whatever else. I like how that might work for us, so we'll see. Another piece from Twentyman here. Frank Ragnow looking the part at center. Sexy Frank. We had to talk about this. We've talked about last year. We said he was just biding time and doing positional flexibility when they put him out to guard, and he was going to be back in training camp at center, and he never made his way back. People were talking a little bit about positional flexibility now, but it seems like based on what he's saying and everything else that he is absolutely going to stay at center. This staff seemed when he gave Mike O'Hara some shit about it. We talked about last week, but he was like, you know something I don't, right? About Ragnow there. But I mean, it makes sense that you drafted a center and he should be playing center because he's darn good at it.
Right. And I think that the justification last year was that Graham Glasgow was better at center than he was at guard. And okay, that's fine. You bring the rookie and you see what he can do. But now that they're in a position where they can shuffle around guards as well, because TJ Lang only played right guard. He did not play left guard. And I think the thought was that Glasgow is a better right guard than left guard.
Sure. Yep.
So now it sure looks like Frank Ragnow will be our starting center and Graham Glasgow will be our starting right guard. So who's the left guard? That's going to be fun. Joe Dahl, Ode Ibushi, Kenny Wiggins, somebody who's not here yet.
Aruwariye.
Sorry, Aruwariye.
I just want to say his name.
Michael Roberts. You never know. Might be his only way to make the roster.
Yeah. We shall see. So lots still to be said. And OTAs are a good time to see guys in shorts. Everybody looks good in shorts. Even I look better in shorts than I do.
You do look dashing in shorts.
Oh, thank you.
Although I'm not sure I've ever seen you in actual long pants.
No, I rarely wear longs unless I have to go to work.
Yeah.
All right. And if I can, I'd wear my Sunday shorts. 5 players looking to return punts. This is interesting in that we have some guys who seem to be pretty capable here. Danny Amendola. I don't like that idea just because of the injury.
I don't like that either. Get him out of there.
Yeah.
He's capable. He will never drop the ball. I think that's his best asset there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also a wide receiver that has a 9.3 average punt return average, and I'm going to let you take a guess. Who do you think that might be?
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee Lewis. They're also looking at Brandon Powell, Tom Kennedy.
Love Tommy Lee. More Tommy Lee always.
Absolutely. All right. So that was the 5 takeaways from the first week of OTAs.
I'll drink to that.
Interesting time of the season. These are things where you start to make it's funny because you make extrapolations based on very limited data sets right now, right? And
right.
Last year we had a new coach, right? A new defensive coordinator. We were trying to figure all that out. Now we have a new offensive coordinator and all these tight ends that we didn't have before, and tight ends that can play that we didn't have before, and all this other stuff. So you're trying to make connections that maybe aren't there and are there, but they're letting on.
I think Yeah, I think we're trying to see combinations, like who has chemistry together, who has chemistry with Stafford when they're out there. That's just little things like that.
Yeah,
learning the offense, installing it, who's picking it up, who might need a little bit of extra work, that type of thing. Where do the new guys fit? How do they blend with the scheme and concept? There's a lot going on there. So it's a good time for them to be there. It's a good time to check out what athletically how they compare to who was there before. That was one of the things that I found myself looking at with Jelani Tavai was how does he compare to Tahir Whitehead? How does he compare to Jalen Reeves-Maben? To Miles Killebrew? Where does he fit with that? Going back, I saw some Stephen Tulloch, believe it or not. So there's some things there to like.
Yeah, they're high on Tavai, and
yes,
interesting stuff.
They are. That is not a company line either. They really do like him.
Yeah. So I'm interested, and it's funny because we see things. There's a lot we're going to see differently this year. And we'll talk about all these things. There's just a lot of thoughts coming together as we talk about things like this, but. This team is going to be different. Some people are going to have a hard time as fans making the adjustment into how this team runs. So we'll get
this is not Jim Caldwell's team. This is not Jim Schwartz's team. This is a very different type of NFL team for these days. And that's deliberate on their part. That's a calculated gamble or calculated decision on their part to go swim against the current. And with the talent that they've got. I can see why they are doing it, and I see why they think it can work.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about one person. The first round pick, TJ Hockenson, the Hockenstock. Abbott Costello posted that TJ Hockenson could be the best tight end that Matthew Stafford has ever played with in the subreddit. This is from Pro Football Focus. I don't disagree. I really don't. And is a total skill set. Hockenson may have it where Ebron, heck of an athlete, right? We know about the drop balls. We know about that. And with it, it's just like you can't talk about Titus Young without mental health become part of the conversation.
Yeah.
There's a different form of mental health with maturity, I'd say, with Ebron, right? And I'm not discounting what happened with fans or any of that, right? But there's a level of maturity that wasn't there. That's part of the baggage train, right? That's part of the baggage that comes along on the ride. So you look at Pettigrew, had a couple of great years. Pettigrew was, if he had played like he did early forever, he would have been worth that first round pick.
Before his knee went, he was a very, very good tight end. And he was absolutely worthy of being number 20 overall pick in the draft, I believe.
Yep.
He lived up to that. Then he got hurt. Then he lost what made him special and faded into Bolivian, as Mike Tyson would say.
Faded into Bolivian. Yes, he did.
I'm going to fade into Bolivian.
That was sad. It was sad. He was good, and then
he was a good dude too.
Yeah, he was.
And Lions fans everybody still calls him Petidrop.
Yeah, and that's like his knee injury hurt his hands, right? I mean, that's what
it really did. It did.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know.
He was a good guy though. Yeah,
something about a knee bone connected to a hip bone, connected to an elbow bone. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's that. I mean, who else? You think about it. I mean, I know you were kind of thinking there. Who's the other tight end that stands up? Michael Roberts.
It ain't Michael Roberts. I'm trying to think back to who he played with at Georgia. I don't think any Georgia guys made the NFL from Stafford's era there, and that's going back, 12 years. Yeah. So none of them stand out, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. Yeah, that's got to be it. I mean, they had the indomitable Will Heller for a year. That was fun.
And did he play? Did he play with Schrader? Not that he was better. I can't remember. There's some years there.
You mean Tony Scheffler?
Scheffler, thank you.
Yeah, Tony Scheffler, pride of Western Michigan.
Yeah,
I think Scheffler was the number 2 tight end on the 2009 team.
Yeah,
so his rookie year. I think he was still here.
Yep.
I could be wrong, but I seem to recall him still being here then.
Everybody, Scheffler. Yeah, he was great. I love Scheffler. Thank you for helping me get straight on that.
Jay Schrader or Bill Schrader.
Bill Schrader, yeah.
Bill Schrader. Remember Matt Millen going nuts over how awesome Bill Schrader was?
Yes.
Crap. Oh.
The hype never matched the performance in that entire era. It's so funny. Like, so much more hype over so much less quality.
God, he loved our two-spinner so freaking much.
Oh, my goodness. I forgot about Artus.
I think he just likes saying the name.
Yeah, maybe. So anyway, this may be the guy, and beyond that, this may be a big help. What I hope we don't wind up being is a one-weapon offense. That's the big fear, right? I mean, we've got some good running backs. We've got some guys there. You got Hock, you got Amendola, but you could wind up just like you did before. You got Stafford and one guy to catch the ball, and I'm tired of the team being there. Where are the pieces for him to play with? We keep surrounding him with pieces, and then it always seems there's one or two guys only around.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about Darrell Bevell's offensive philosophy and the way that he laid it out with his 4 tenants principles of offense that he wants to go for. The fourth one's going to be tough because they don't really have the people who can do it. And that's,
We'll get
yeah. We'll jump off that bridge soon.
Yes, we will.
And I will jump off that bridge.
Oh my goodness. All right, so let's talk a little bit. Anything else about Hockenson that we want to bring to the table from what you saw when you were at OTAs?
He is a guy. He is. You can tell that he's an alpha male on the field, and you can tell that people are looking at him to make plays, and he's comfortable with that. He doesn't have a problem being the man, having the pressure on him. Awesome. He wears it very easily.
Excellent. A good first-round tight end who can handle it. All right. Hey, quick reminder, just so you guys know, training camp party August 3rd, Zach Zenner Day. Got some huge stuff coming for that. We're going to have guests, big We're going to have the prizes, giveaways, the whole thing. A couple of big announcements ahead of that. Some really, really good stuff coming. So you don't want to miss it. We're going to do it August 3rd, Zach Zenner Day, during training camp that day. It's an all-day affair. Get your I Love Zach Zenner shirts for Zach Zenner Day so we can identify you. We'll do some stuff before and after, and then down at the party too. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Go ahead and do that. Let's get into the Darrell Bevell thing now. Let's just push it to right now and go into it.
Okay.
Offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell says, "We'll always be about running the football," and that's posted by the Lionist. What do you think? It's a big switch to go from a 4-3 offense to a 4-3 defense to a 3-4 defense. Going from a pass first offense for the last 10 years to or longer. I mean, for Stafford's whole career, to a run first offense is going to confuse the hell out of the fans. And the first time it doesn't work, I know people are going to flip and freak and be ready to run away from it.
Oh my God!
Tell us we should have been throwing the ball and.
So the second drive of the year, when they are in Arizona and they run the ball on first down, they run the ball on second down, they run the ball on third down, and then punt from the 48-yard line, people are going to go ape shit. Mm-hmm. And I might be one of them. But I understand the principle for doing it. They are basically. They don't want the offense to lose the game for the defense, is my interpretation of it. And that's probably taking it further than what they would express it as.
What they'd say out loud.
They certainly know that the defense is going to win them games, and the defense is a stronger unit, and that's by design. And how do you play? How do you play to a good defense? You run the ball, you shorten the game, you give the opponent less possessions. Mm-hmm. And you do what Darrell Bevell did in Seattle and what he did for a time in Minnesota. You pound, and then you take shots. And that was the fourth thing is that in his tennis was that we will take shots down the field. And he was very adamant about that. And this is where there's a disconnect between what he wants to do and the talent that they have on hand.
Personnel, yeah.
Right. Because Kenny Golladay, while he's good, he's not really a blazer deep threat. In Seattle, they had Tyler Lockett. They had Doug Baldwin. They had Golden Tate for a while.
Yeah.
They had guys who were really electric with the ball in their hands after the catch, but also able to get themselves open and create space on post corners, 7, 8, 9 routes. Lions don't have that. Marvin Jones doesn't get open, period. He's very good at contested balls, but that's
they're going to put
that work. It works sometimes. It doesn't work some other times.
They're going to put Kenny in the slot, and they're going to put Amendola in the X.
Right. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Oh, he's not a blazer either, but I don't even know how fast he is. I know he can move and juke, but I don't know how fast he is. But I mean, in my head, it's almost freaking plausible that he's as fast as Marvin Jones.
It could be. You know, Marvin's issue isn't that he's slow; it's that he does everything at the same speed. Yeah. He's a one-speed guy. Those guys are easier to cover. It's harder for them to get separation because he's at full speed, and it might be 4.48 in the 40 if you post that into what it takes to run the route. Mm-hmm. But if it's always the same, the defenses can catch on to that, and they have with Marvin.
Right.
Galladay has some ability to change speeds, but I was actually watching I'm doing a little. I'm trying to get ahead of the game for the 2020 draft, so I've been watching some college wide receivers. There are some guys who are masters already at stuttering, at changing things up, at changing their footwork on the same route. They don't run the same route the same way every time. That's not. There's something to be said for having the consistency and having the reliability of that. Stafford knows, okay, if you're running a 7, I know exactly when and where to throw the ball to. Mm-hmm. But so does the defense.
I'm just going to jump in because this is another one. We're foreshadowing every topic, but we'll talk a little bit about the footwork of Travis Fulgham because I saw some stuff that was pretty damn impressive.
Good, good because he's not super fast either.
Nope, he doesn't have that. All right, so there we go. Running the football first again. It's going to be different. Don't bail on us, Riz, on the second possession in Arizona. It's another one of those things where it's going to take. I have a feeling the team's probably going to. They're probably going to win in Arizona, but it's going to be like a what the hell did I just see kind of a win. Which it seems to be the first game of the season. If they win, it's always been that way for like the last 4 or 5 years since Caldwell took over. But yeah, I just feel like it's going to be what did I just see? But we're going to see another slow starting team, a team that I believe will finish strong. But isn't going to be at their peak. Now,
are you referring to just games or the season? Because this team has started games slowly for a long time.
Yeah.
That is, if you want to have a criticism of Matthew Stafford, it's that he's not good in the first quarter. Mm-hmm. That tends to be his worst quarter.
Yeah, no, so that's different than what I was talking about, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, so and I was specifically referring to the first game of the season. It's been a ridiculous. Okay. I mean, think back all the way with San Diego when we played in San Diego and 21. He's gone now to
LaDainian Tomlinson.
No, R21.
Amir Abdullah.
Thank you, Abdullah. He came out and it's like, holy cow, he's the second coming, and then it was halftime. And we got destroyed or barely won. I can't remember, but it was like, what the heck?
We did win that game.
Yeah.
That was 2014, 15.
But this goes back years where the first game of the season has been just a what the heck did I just see? And the team just looks at certain points just on fire. Hey, look at that Diggs interception last year, first play. I mean, we got this locked in, right? And then the whole thing caught fire. The first game has just been insanity for this team. I think that's going to happen, but I think you're going to see a team and they're taking that approach. I think they're building their team. They're probably like 90% together with what they want to be when the season starts, but they're letting other teams put things on tape and show them who they are, and they're adjusting to the league. I think that's part of the whole offense. That's part
of the allure of Patricia.
Right.
It's that he's smarter than the other coach.
And that absolutely. And if you look at like, what Bevell's doing here with saying we're a run first when the rest of the league is going pass first, this is, if you think about how every defense is set up, it's to take care of the pass. We're focusing on the pass because everybody's passing. Well, if you want to find a little edge, a little opportunity to take advantage of the other defenses, you do something that everybody else isn't doing, and you use that to try to create your advantage. So it's a definitely different approach than we're used to. It's unique. I don't want to say it's a gamble, right? But it's just different than what everybody else is doing. And I don't think you can look at something that's different and criticize it only because it's different. We just have to see how it's executing, and it's going to take 5, 6, 7 games to really start to get a feel for, is this team getting better? Are they able to execute? Was this the right plan for this team this year against the rest of the NFL? Is that fair?
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, man.
Good point.
Yeah.
Done for the week. All right. No, there is one more good point, and this is a good one, Riz. We did something a little bit different. We were telling people when they want to get all their jerseys, it's Tiger season right now. You get your shirts to support those poor guys out there spending all that time in the heat, obviously with sunstroke because they're not winning many games. But you're a Tigers fan. You can get your other Detroit teams. You got your college teams, anything else, all that stuff. You get all your gear from Fanatics. We used to tell you to go to the website and then click on that and go to Fanatics. Got a better way. It's faster. Right?
Ooh, no, tell me.
Normally, you're just going to type fanatics.com. Well, actually, you went to Detroit Lions Podcast, but you would think of doing that. All you do is go to fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. It'll take you right to Fanatics. No clicking, no anything.
That's easy.
Yeah, right?
I can do that.
Fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. Shoot you right over there. You can get all your gear, get a great discount, and help support the show by doing something you're going to do anyway, and actually by looking like a real boss rolling around town. So there you go. Fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. All right, Travis Fulgham. There's so many ways when you read that name that you feel like you could say it, but it's Fulgham. It's
Fulgham.
Yeah.
Fulgham
Had a gift breakdown, and this guy, so he's a gift. He's doing a gift breakdown, but he's a gift to the subreddit. A gift. He goes by the name Acoustic Farts. Right there alone, right? Another great name.
That's audio brilliance right there, baby.
Right? It's an audio gift to everybody that we've shared now outside the sub. But he does GIF breakdowns. And basically what he is he takes little GIF images or GIF videos, I guess is the way to say it. Some people like to say GIF. And he breaks down what...
Don't start that argument, please. Please.
He breaks down plays for players and takes a look and does an analysis with video support. It's really, really good. He's already done Jelani Tavai, Will Harris, Austin Bryant, Amane Aruwariye. I can say Aruwariye. And TJ Hockenson. He's done them all so far. And he just did Travis Fulgham. And it's about time. We should have been giving him some props earlier, but some really, really great stuff. Does some excellent insight on his strengths, his weaknesses, gives you, as I said, the video support. Talks about hands, route running, body control, and about his fade route, what he's doing there, how he's blocking. He's got some really good blocking technique in there. Really good breakdown in Fulgham. I'm a little bit higher on this guy than I was even a week ago.
It's worth checking out. There's definitely some interesting points. Remember that you're only seeing the plays that are highlighted, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what you're going to look at. And that's something that when I'm scouting a player, I will chop certain plays up and I look at it again. If you're a fan of Matt Waldman and the rookie scouting portfolio, he does a great job of talking over a clip like that. And this is similar to that. So if you like what Waldman does, and I would encourage you to check out what Waldman does, because he's a great dude who puts a lot of effort into it, and he sees things differently than a lot of people do. This is a chance for you to draw your own conclusions watching the plays, and they're there. You don't have to sit through the entire Old Dominion versus Charlotte game, which I've done twice. It sucks.
You're a man amongst men. You're submitting yourself to that.
I watch one college football game every day of the year. Every day.
And you did Old Dominion and Charlotte. That had to be like a...
Well, so there's two wide receivers from Old Dominion who are on the Lions.
You're right.
And there was an offensive lineman from Charlotte who was he got drafted, Nate Davis. I can't think of where. I want to say he was a 4th round pick somewhere.
Interesting.
So there's actually some NFL prospects in that game. And our boy O'Shane Jimenez was also in that game.
Yeah, we saw him at the Senior Bowl.
At the Senior Bowl, he didn't do much there.
And again, I'm going to say it's hard. Well, it is what it is. It's hard to play either offense or defense against a quarterback who can't throw the ball even in the general vicinity of anybody that it's supposed to.
Oh, my God.
Horrible. It was really
Daniel Jones is the number 6. Oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God. I feel bad for Giants fans. I really do.
Yeah.
This is the same team that got snookered into Davis Webb and who was the other crap hole that they took? Not Alex Tanney, who actually has a decent arm. They took somebody last year, Kyle Oletta.
Yeah.
He doesn't suck, but he should never be starting. No. And they just keep going and going and going.
So we'll talk about with Fulgham. I just want to point at some of his weaknesses, right? Because he's athletic. I mean, he's not unathletic.
He's
average size, average speed, average quickness, right?
Average would be the way I would say things. Is that he's He's not exceptional, good or bad in any one thing. Other than I do like his blocking. He is a very efficient, technical, and aggressive blocker. He seems to really enjoy it.
And I'll tell you his footwork. There's a great gif in there where he cuts the ball snap and he cuts behind with his right foot behind his left foot, like he's going to cut left, and then he launches off to the right and leaves a dude holding his dick in his hand. Blew him just right out of the hole and shot past him. So he's got some good footwork, good moves, but he's a little bit shorter than Galladay. He's slower in the 40 and in the shuttle, and he had less production against worse competition than Galladay did. So,
right,
it's gonna
with a better quarterback too. By the way,
I fully agree with Acoustic Farts. He says he's going to make a good wide receiver 3 or 4. Unfortunately, we're a team that's got a lot of wide receiver 2, 3, and 4s on it. So we'll see. He'll probably play this year, but that's more a testament to who's on the team otherwise. So hopefully this guy can be something more than maybe expectations would otherwise set.
If you're looking for a high-end comparison for him, I will go to the other team that I covered, the Cleveland Browns. He has some Rashard Higgins to him. And Hollywood has a great chemistry with Baker Mayfield, and it has made him a better receiver. And that's the type of thing you have to hope with Fulgham, is that he clicks with Stafford, like, hey, I got this guy. And he could be a much better number 3 wide receiver, because he does have that kind of upside.
And these are the kind of guys that I'd expect to see a Matthew Stafford. If you players and quarterbacks that elevate the players around him, this is where Matthew Stafford could really have that opportunity with him and Galladay both. He could bring them into, he could make them better players than they otherwise would be with his expertise. So let's hope for that along the way. All right, we'll move into the next one. This one, Always Lion posted this in the subreddit. This is a good one. Talking about cornerback depth and starters. And Riz, I want to get some of your analysis here because you're really, really good at this. You look through kind of the chart. You have Slay, Coleman, Melvin, Diggs, Agnew, Tabor, Ford, and Aruwariye.
Jeez, that's a lot of names.
Yeah, it is.
I'm using a cheat sheet here so I don't forget anybody. Right.
Aruwariye starts out at the bottom, and let me just start with him and get my thoughts over, and
okay,
then you can go to town. I'm really torn on him, right? I feel like here's a guy who 3rd round pick, right? I mean, I feel like he should have gone in the 3rd, but he didn't go till much later, 5th, right?
6th
round. Yeah. He fell way farther. Is he a guy that has a lot of talent and a ceiling and a chip on his shoulder and could actually be a good year 1 cornerback in that number 2 position? Because that's where I feel like we're weakest with all across the line of talent that we have. Mainly because I see Coleman as a slot guy is much better in the slot than as on the outside. Or
I agree with that.
You look at all the real talent evaluators versus, and this is I gotta do a side jag here. People talk about who should have been drafted where and whatever. Just like when you sell your house, just like when you sell stock, the market tells you how much it's worth. I don't care what it was worth a year ago or 10 minutes ago. Whatever you sold it for and got money in your bank on, that's how much it was worth, period. All the paper money in between is a lie. So don't fool yourself into thinking something's worth something it's not, okay? It's only when it's sold that you know its value. He was a 6th round pick. That's the value that the people who have not just Bob Quinn, not just Gettleman, and throw him in there, not just your NFL GMs. They have whole scouting departments. They have coaches they're working with. Everybody talks about how great they are at evaluating, doing draft evaluations, and then they criticize a whole organization of like 20 people and all of the years of experience they have because they watch the highlights thing on YouTube once. It's really, really interesting to see that. So the market truly said that he was a 6th round pick.
Yeah, he was a 5th rounder. That's my bad.
Help me. Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
help me.
Still, the point stands.
Help me understand, because I feel like there's so much evaluation at the 3rd round that there's some talent there that people saw, and there's maybe a ceiling that he could step up to. I know people drafting a cornerback early is out of fashion, out of vogue right now because it does take so long to develop a cornerback. Where do we see our Warrior here? Is he really kind of last in line and just going to sit and learn this year, or do we think we might see him? What have we seen so far this early in the year?
We've seen very little. The first day of OTAs that I was at, he primarily worked with the 3rd team, and they were not on the near field, so we have not seen much of him. That will change over time. They're going to give him more opportunities. But even with Slay out, he was still in the third pairing. And that's where he starts. That you start there as a rookie.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: Coleman was also not participating in most of the drills, and Arouari was still down there. So he's got a ways to go to prove himself. The thing is, he's going to get chances to prove himself, and it's not unusual for a guy to start that low and quickly ascend. It's a very fluid depth chart.
Yeah,
because after Coleman and Melvin and Slay, I think it's completely wide open.
Right.
I'll say this, I don't think there's a chance that the number 4 and number 5 cornerbacks, and I do only think they're keeping 5, they might not even be on the roster right now. Maybe Will Harris is one of them. I do think he's a better cornerback than safety. I don't like him at safety, but if you move him to corner, I think his deficiencies, his inability to anticipate routes, it's actually less damaging at cornerback than it is at safety because he's athletic enough that he can recover, and he's not helping cover for somebody else's problems.
Exactly. You could give him safety help, right?
Right. Yes, exactly. And Q Diggs is great there.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of 3 safety looks on this team. So I do only think they're going to keep 5 cornerbacks. Jamal Agnew is the one for me that is the question, because if he doesn't show a lot at cornerback, we talked about it earlier. They're trying out all different kinds of guys at return man.
Right.
He would really have to be special as a return only guy if he can't play as the number 4 or number 5 corner. And thus far from what we've seen from him, I don't think he can. So it would not surprise me if he and Arouari are fighting for that last corner job.
Interesting. And with his, he can return, right? If his knee holds up. If his knee holds up. That special teams might give him the angle for the roster and still give you a way to keep Arouari.
It might. Tabor, from what I've gathered, they really want it to work for him because they do not want that giant egg on their face for drafting this guy in the second round, and he can't freaking play. He made a great interception the day I was there. He made one great interception the day before I was there. He's been active. He's worked with, did you work with Chad Johnson this offseason? Yeah. So, he's getting some swagger. He has never lost his confidence, to his credit.
Yeah.
Even when he's played like balls, he still thinks he's the man.
Plays like balls. I didn't expect that. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I think he's going to get a very legit shot. I think he's one of those guys you're going to see him play the entire 4th preseason game, and that could very well decide whether he makes the team or not.
Yeah, no. A lot of people have given
Mike
up on
Ford. Mike Ford, I think, is a practice squad guy. I think they like his athleticism, and I think they like his speed. And if you go back to the first time we saw him, like, hey, maybe we got something here.
Right.
And then the rest of the season happened, and like, oh crap, this guy's terrible.
You get flashed for the first moment. You're like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And then you see what the body really looks like.
Oh my God, he's fast! Oh, that's herein ends the reading of his assets.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, no, good analysis. Thank you, Riz. Appreciate that.
Let me cross the leg. Yeah, there we go.
All right. We're gonna move on. Guess what else we did? We did it again. Amazon.
Oops, I did it again.
You can come to the site. You can click on it. That's one way to get there. Or you can just go to amazon.detroitlionspodcast.com and it'll take you right there.
Again, that's so easy.
Right?
It's so easy.
Why didn't I think of this before?
Really? Why have I not been shopping like this all the time?
I don't know. So now, instead of all the other stuff, you just have to type the words DetroitLionsPodcast.com between the Amazon and .com. And same thing with the Fanatics.
Go get the new Thank You Scientist album. You're welcome.
Ooh, nice. Get your Amazon Music there, and you can have it all the time, right?
You can also have some new I Prevail.
Yes, great I Prevail.
Bow down. I freaking love that song.
I'm still locked in on Rise Above. There's a lot of great songs there. There's a lot. Gasoline is when I'm
they have upped their game. It's a very good, very strong album.
Yep. So I'm thinking of visiting when they're in Grand Rapids for the last show of the tour. Right? So if you won't mind me hanging with
that's fine.
Show.
I'm actually in my guest room now, which is why the lighting is all weird. Because I'm trying to keep my family from bothering me. So I'm in my basement, and I'm looking right now at a bed that Need some sheets on it. Oops.
All right. So last time, Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Do all your
Do it.
there.
Go there. Shop.
Support the show by doing something you're going to do anyway. All right. Update, because we like to be nice guys and because we actually do care. Kelly Stafford update. She did an update on Instagram, and a lot of people are just kind of putting, hey, here's something here, here's there. We're kind of doing a weekly update, checking in and seeing how her recovery is going. It's important to us as people. She's taken some crap just because of where she sits in the organization and her husband, how much money he makes and stuff, but she's been nothing but a kind, wonderful woman. I remember her being ready to pop with the pregnancy last year at training camp. Just sunshine on her face, just happy, smiling, just a sweet lady with everything going on, and she deserves our support. So report from her is the balance is getting better all the time. She still has weakness on her right side. It's changed her face, and it's something she said after 29 years you get used to your face. I tend not to look at mine, right? I try to avoid it already. Look away, but
turn your eyes, kids. No.
For someone who does carry a little bit of beauty in their life, the change because of the weakness inside is caused, and she said it's really pronounced when she tries to smile or laugh. You can see it, and so she finds herself covering her mouth. She's very kind of self-conscious about it, which is, I can imagine how tough that would be. She said it's going to take 6 to 12 months to understand if any of this is permanent, how much of it is permanent. There's a lot of relearning that goes on. The brain can relearn a lot of things, and not so much in this case, but nerves can regrow, all kinds of things muscles can strengthen, all kinds of things can happen, and you can rewire yourself to handle that. So she's on the mend. She's doing better all the time, and that's good with her balance. That's important, being able to get around. But the other thing, in the midst of all that going on, she was able to post the chug, the Stafford chug.
Oh, yeah.
I know it was a couple days ago. It's really in between when we recorded, but God damn, her husband can drink beer.
So I was on the air with Drew on Friday. I was Jim. I got to chug a beer on air in studio, which was fantastic. Drew brought me a beer. I slammed it, and my form was a little off. I was drinking it out of a can. I haven't chugged a beer in a long time, and it showed. But I still whipped Roger's ass.
I see you have a glass with you now. Do you want to repeat the feat?
It's empty.
Oh, sorry. Oh, well, okay. Maybe we can get gaslight you into doing that for us.
We can have some fun doing that some of the time.
Maybe at the party.
I am certainly not averse to chugging alcohol.
No. Maybe we could do that at the party. Maybe we could do we have to do a contest, but it has to include Uber at the end, right? I mean,
absolutely.
There's all legalese.
Our legendary Uber ride from a couple of years ago. Remember that one? I don't.
There's a sexual assault claim ready to be filed somewhere, maybe by the Uber driver, but no, we're not quite Jameis Winston.
No. Oh, hey now. No, so yeah, it's I am not Matthew Stafford. He had perfect form, perfect technique. The way he tilted his head at the exact perfect angle, and then just
it wasn't his first time.
Gone. No, not his first rodeo, not his second rodeo.
Incredible, man. Wow. Yeah, that was.
The other cool thing about that, he was in Detroit that day until like 1 p.m. He's in Palm Beach watching that game at a nice restaurant, and she savvily showed the Bucs game up on the TV.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. And by the way, David Bakhtiari, there's a guy. If he's ever a free agent, go get him.
Yeah. Oh,
that guy, aside from being a pretty darn good football player, that's a guy I want to hang with.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that was great. He looked like he was having a ton of fun there. That's awesome.
Has some nice eye candy with him, too.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Kelly's getting better. I got to tell you one other thing about Matthew. Having, you get married for a while, your other half can get sick, and happens. Having been with somebody who's had some things, nothing serious like this, right? But when your other half gets sick, there's this is not to sound selfish, right? I don't want to do this at all, but being the caretaker, right? When everybody's like, oh, they bring the ZD for the other one, right? All the focus is somewhere else. You're busting your ass, right? It's not like you're worried about your other half as well, right? I mean, there's a lot of stress and on you. And people often don't recognize that, right? And because you focus, like we're talking about now, we're all this talk about Kelly, and then look at Stafford, he can pound down a beer. There's a lot of stress going on in his life as the the dad to those kids, and taking care of his wife and the love of his life. And you got to recognize he's done a hell of a job maintaining that. Obviously, as she said, how great he's done his career and still being able to put back a beer every now and then. That's impressive to see.
It's he talked about it in his press conference last week where O'Hara kind of went at him and he was he talked about how good he is at compartmentalizing things, and that shows. That's a skill. And he talked about how coming to work was his way of like, okay, I'm here. This is my chance not to worry about what's going on at home. Mm-hmm. And he throws himself into that. And I 100% buy that. So I'm very impressed that to think of what they're going through with those they got 3 kids under 3?
Twins and a young one. Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
I mean, it's a lot. So just give him some credit along the way.
That's tough when you're healthy, man.
Yeah. Give the whole family some credit. And, along the way.
He gave his mother-in-law some serious love.
Oh, yeah.
So that's cool.
Good family there. All right. Move on really quick. Show note for you folks. The week of the 24th of June, I am out of Dodge. You will not see me on the show. We're not going to have a show that week. I'm traveling. I'll be back in Detroit. Be some more shenanigans.
There you go. I'll be in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, celebrating my parents' 50th anniversary.
Nice.
Yeah, my family and I have rented a beach house, and so it'll be a lot of fun. I will not be working. I have not had I took 24 hours off a couple weekends ago. I have not had more than 36 hours without posting something on one of my wire sites since the day after Christmas 2016.
Man.
I have taken 3 days off in a row for that, so I'm very much looking forward to that.
Good for you. You mentioned your parents' 50th. I went to my grandparents' 50th when I was like 13 or 14 years old, and it was a family thing down in Ohio, and it was at a VFW hall or something. And I got away with drinking so many beers. It was the first time I ever gotten drunk, right? And we had a big family barbecue the next day where everyone was getting together again, out of their parents again. It was a big like multi-day celebration thing. And it was my first hangover too.
Oh, yeah.
I got maybe I'll share some of the stories from there. I got some other good stories that we'll share over the summer because summer stories are good. Every time I think of a 50th now, I think of my grandparents, which is great. But then I think of what I did there, and I'm like embarrassed. So I thought I'd share the embarrassment with everybody else. All right, coming up, a couple quick things. Key NFL dates for the Lions. OTA off-season workout started the day we record today, the 29th of May through the 31st, and then also June 10th through the 13th. Mandatory minicamp. This is where everyone's got to be there, where you will see Snacks and you will see Slay. It's June 4th through 6th. They break for the 13th, and that's when everything stops and we wait for training camp. Around the 11th of June is when to expect the announcements on training camp. The dates there and when that's going to happen, and we'll book our flights and all that other stuff.
Yeah, expect it to be that final week of July leading into August for them to start that.
Yep.
That typically is it. They usually have a full week and then another week before the first preseason game.
Yep, absolutely.
And they'll also announce the actual dates for when they will be doing joint practices too.
Right. But we're telling you right now, Zach Center Day is on August 3rd.
August 3rd. We have booked it.
That's when our party will be, the whole thing. And we're 99.9% sure there's no training camp the next day. And that makes it easy for everyone to come and hang out and have a good time and tie one on a little bit and meet all the folks we're going to have there. So there's the key dates. We'll keep going. Good stuff with that. We're going to call it a show this week. Thank you, Riz, for filling in for Case, man. As always, you are the man.
My pleasure, man. It was fun. I'm glad we got to do this. Yeah. Spend a little time together.
Yeah.
A little Chris time. That's good for me.
All right. Remember, this show needs your involvement. Use the comments in the subreddit.
Yes, we do.
Give us your feedback. Let us know what you think of the show, how we can get better, or what you really like so we can keep doing more of that. Also, don't forget about us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. And join the club. Get the Slack chat. As little as $1 a month. As much as you feel like giving, we appreciate every dollar. Helps support the show. Helps us put on these different things we're doing. And a lot of surprises coming this summer. You guys are going to like it. It all was foundationally started with our Patreon people and the folks there. So we do whatever we can to help them out. pre-info about stuff before it happens and previews and stuff like that. So patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Join in there. Also check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/The Detroit Lions Podcast, facebook.com/The Detroit Lions Podcast, and follow us on the Twitter machine at DET Lions Podcast. DET Lions Podcast, the very best place to see the Riz.
With no pants.
Give us a call on Skype, Detroit Lions Podcast. All one word. 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, whatever you want to do it. Give us a call. Or you can call us on the Lions line. It's another time. You can do it at the same time. It's 929-33-LIONS. It's 929-335-4667. Give us a call. We'll get you on the air. Sobriety is not required. Also, go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast so we can come to you every week like we like to do. All right. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs. No problems, because we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection.